A harrowing tale unfolds as we seek full justice for Madeline Soto. In order for justice to be complete for Maddie, it would mean that her mother, Jennifer Soto, also be arrested.
Battery. For each count, you are sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
21.
Stearns was ultimately given an astounding 21 life sentences, and he will never see freedom.
Yeah, he won't. Even if one thing was to be overturned, the magnitude of this case and the crimes that were committed. Now, this is what I heard, and I'm glad you're saying this, Deb, because I'm going to read this. Tyler wanted custody, and Yolanda, supposedly, according to Jen, told Tyler she had more money and would block him or outspend him to stop him from getting custody. I appreciate you saying that, because that's the story that I was told from the people that I was working with in the Madeline Soto case, but I wasn't allowed to say that because we weren't supposed to know that side of things. But the reason Deb knows is because she talked to Jen Soto. That is exactly what I heard from the family and the people that were, wanting to get justice for Maddie, was that Jen outpaid him. Her mom paid for lawyers and made sure that Jen would keep full custody of Maddie. Now, I was very surprised, Kathleen. I had never heard that when Tyler in court told us that he asked Maddie if she wanted to live with him when she turned 13, and she said yes. That was the first time I had ever seen that. So if that's the case, it's even more of a motivator maybe for what happened. What's up, Unforgivable Sins? Good to see you, my friend. I think Maddie's entire family profited off of Maddie. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. There's a lot of things during this case that I simply just couldn't say, or evidence that I couldn't show. I just had to tell you, and you guys just had to believe it. Wow, that's awful to do that to her father due to personal reasons. Him not choosing her. Right. All right, let's keep going.
On the outside ever again.
My heart breaks for Madeline. This poor child did nothing wrong.
Nope.
She was taken advantage of. She was abused and ultimately killed by a predator. Our children are our most precious asset. And so it's crushing to think about what this child's last moments were like, what her life was like, the abuse that this guy normalized. And for every predator we take down, in one of our investigations, it sends a message to a guy like this that you're not going to get away with it.
You wish that somebody would have.
But I didn't send a message to Jen Soto about anything, because Jen Soto is still walking around free. So that's what I want to document here. If you listen to some of the people in this documentary, you can hear them allude to the fact that Jen Soto wasn't really innocent, but didn't get charged for it. You can kind of tell how they talk about her sending Maddie to bed, but it's just not there. It's not like she did this, she should have been arrested, and she got away with murder and everything else, right? Oh, so disgusting. Right, we're almost done. We're gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna just right now, after when we're done this, I'm just gonna pull up real quick the 5 charges that could be looming over Jen Soto's head, or at least were when we covered this case. Still is, because she never was arrested. There's no double jeopardy here. She's never been charged or arrested for anything. And then I'll give away the Madeline Soto jewelry that I have, and I think that's it. I don't think I have any other shirts or anything, but I will see what I have. And you definitely gotta have a membership, Julie. You guys have to be in the United States and be green. If that's the case, then you could win the Madeline Soto stuff that I have here. And yeah, that's it. That's the stuff from the case. It's the last of it. Carol, Jay, this is how I found you and why I joined Guilty of Crime. Nobody has covered Madeline like you. Thank you. Well, thank you. And yeah, you're very welcome. I don't think I had much of a choice to cover it. Everybody came to me and said, I need you to cover this, but it was a tough case. Statute of limitation on the 5 longest, one only. Thank you. And that's good to interject into this about statute of limitations. That is why I think The number 3, child neglect resulting in death, is a huge one. Huge one. I don't know where they are. I don't know where they are. I've literally begged. I have begged law enforcement or anybody in law enforcement to tell me or to make a statement that this case is closed. Because if that's the case, I mean, I get a lot of hate, right? I get a lot of haters messaging, Jen's never going to be arrested. Just because you say she's guilty or arrest Jen Soto is not going to change it. Get over it. Give up. Well, I will when I hear that the case is closed and they're not going to do anything. But until then, I refuse. Underscore Michael. Rest in peace, Maddie. Amen. All right, let's keep going. I've been here for over 2 hours, and so have you guys. I'm sure you're ready to go chill out and do something different.
Seen a sign and that somebody would have stepped in earlier. It didn't happen one day.
Nope.
It happened for years. How did no one know?
Hit that like button.
Why didn't anybody pay attention? The injustice of that is what we all struggle with and should struggle with, because we have to make sure that that's not acceptable, because bad things do happen. And it takes all of us to make sure that our children are taken care of and protected.
Amen to that. And thank you guys, Prime Crime, for doing this. Oh, as part of the plea agreement, Stephen Stearns waived his right to appeal and will spend the rest of his natural life in prison. And that's the only thing that gives me comfort in this case, that and the fact that he stated that he told the lead detective about Jen Soto's culpability after the fact. So I don't know if that's going to go anywhere. I have no idea. Ankle, what is that? I'm just going to call it Ankle Dad Crocker. I don't know what that means, but welcome. Beautiful picture. As a resident of Kissimmee, this has floored me. Sadly, I don't think they'll ever arrest her. Our police department has suffered tremendously due to tainted sheriffs and abuse of the badge. Thank you for saying that. I do appreciate you. That is exactly the point that I've driven home, was that the corruption that tainted this case is outrageous. And I don't know if somebody's going to pick this case up and do anything with it. Let's see. Twice baked potato. Naomi, I come on every single day at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. You're welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I really did. I've missed you guys. I definitely don't get the same people every day because everyone's different. Everyone's interested in different cases, and I get that. The laws need to change. Absolutely. You're very welcome, Jamie and Cool. All right, I'm going to hey, twin mommies, good to see you. I hadn't seen you. All right, guys, we're gonna I'm gonna put up the 5 serious charges that Jen Soto, did she escape them? And what is the statute of limitations on this? I don't even know, because at the time that we were putting together the 5 top charges that Jen Soto can be arrested for, we didn't even think that it was going to go 2 years out where Jen was still walking around. Member for 20 months. Yay, almost 2 years. Love this place. Well, thank you. Thank you. April, Deb, Jay the Italian Cookie. All right, so if you missed the very beginning, I'm just going to show you real quick. I'm not going to do 20 minutes of this, obviously, but I'm going to just bring up real quickly the Madeline Soto document. This was, again, you guys, if you were here before, you know I worked with Jen Coffendorfer. She came onto my channel, as well as Duty Ron, Ed Wallace, and we all shared the same sentiment of charges that can be applicable to Madeline or Jen Soto at the time. So Coffendorfer, retired FBI agent, 28 years of investigative experience, peeled back the layers of Madeline Soto cases and the 5 charges that loom over #arrest Jen Soto. Jen Soto. All right. And the most prominent one is the child neglect resulting in death. Number 1 was failure to report child abuse. Number 2, tampering with or fabricating physical evidence. Number 3, child neglect, the most serious. Number 4, accessory after the fact. And number 5, conspiracy to commit a felony. All of them have a 5-year and $5,000 fine to start with, but the biggest one of all is the child neglect. The most serious. Florida defines child neglect under the statute and is treated as a serious criminal offense. Neglect could be charged even when no physical injury occurs, and penalties escalate sharply if a child is harmed or dies. And that's what happened to Maddie. All right. So that's the biggest one out of all of the 5 charges: abuse, aggravated abuse, and neglect of a child, which means that she did nothing. That could mean that she knew nothing, but she also did nothing to protect. She failed to protect her child with necessary care, supervision, and services to maintain physical and mental health. Again, guys, she didn't take her to the doctor. She didn't check her underwear. She didn't do her laundry and see that there were things that she should be doing. She didn't do any of that, or she would have known that Maddie was being abused for years. And she failed to make reasonable efforts to protect her child, hence sending Maddie to bed with an ex-boyfriend that she knows has kinks. The kinks that she wanted nothing to do with, but yet send your daughter upstairs and let them snuggle, and Stefan comes out of the bathroom naked, and you're flirting with him, with your daughter. You think it's cute? She failed to protect Maddie from abuse, neglect, and exploitation of another person, in my opinion. And the charges are hefty. If a child dies, that's a first-degree felony up to life imprisonment. Florida law treats neglect resulting in death as one of the most serious offenses under the statute. Key considerations: the defendant was a caregiver. Jen Soto's her mom. The neglect was willful or due to culpable negligence. I would say she was absolutely negligent in sending Maddie to bed with Stefan time and time again. And the neglect directly resulted in the child's death. Maddie is no longer with us. She died. Aggravated child abuse, torture, caging, or aggravated battery is covered under the same statute and may be charged alongside neglect. Florida courts often consider prior history, medical records, and DCF involvement. Now, the only one that we had there was her calling the poison control, and we don't even know what happened with that.